Hello, I am Tezlon and I'm in my VK2801 here in Lakeville Encounter South spawn for the Lighthouse Anatomy of an Orliks, Volume 8. There's one artillery apiece. The enemy team has a Tier 8 scout and we have a Tier 6 and Tier 7. Enemy team has 5 heavies and 5 TDs, whereas we're dominated by heavies, which is kind of a good thing. If they all go over to town and get mixed in the expected brawl over there, that can work to our advantage. But with the way my battles are going today, what will probably happen is our entire team will go to the Valley of Death and then just sit there and drool. I'm having one of those kinds of days, so hopefully that's about to change. Otherwise, this is going to be a disaster. And you already know it's not, because I got Orliks. So, as I'm looking at the countdown timer and deciding what to do, normally I move up in here and spot this area over here. However, I have a premonition that I shouldn't do that. And I learned a long time ago, whether in games or in life, when I have a real strong premonition, I should listen to myself because I have a pretty good record of being right. So I'm not going to go that up the middle road. I'm going to go over here and set up on the ridge and snipe the middle road. The LTTB is running the edge of the lake, which is somewhat risky on his part. And there's a Pershing on the middle road, right down the middle. And he has 2 TDs with him, plus the IS over here that could provide support power. Fire. If I would have gone up here, there's a good chance I'd be mortally wounded or dead right now. I'm going to fire into the bush right here in case the 132 moved down there to spot. And there's the Pershing up in the open, so I can fire at him. He's getting blasted, but manages to get around the rock here. He and I are going to have a history this fight. He's going to stay alive for a long time. Mostly because he very infrequently after this presents himself to our fire. We only have the T-26 over in the Valley of Death. It looks like some people are adjusting that way already, so that's good. We got 3 tanks shifting over there. And at the same time, the IS-6 is moving over towards town. And what that's going to do is mean I'm going to be the only one left in the middle. I'm going to be the only one that can spot the middle road. So I'm going to have to stay here in case the enemy tries to move down the middle road and push into our south. I'm going to be the only one left that can spot him, so I have to stay here and watch. I'm seeing if I can squeeze around there in that gap and hit the IS-6. And I keep hitting on the church. Sorry, God. I'm going to move over here to this low bush by the rock here and look up middle road again. And lo and behold, there's that 122-44 sniping into town. So I'm going to bang on him as long as he lets me. He can't see me that far away. And now he's tracked. He's stuck there. I get to beat him up. I get help. The Pershing's right behind him. I wish they were another 20 meters closer because I could go for a bombardier, which I rarely get because my 105 just has a small splash radius, but they're fun to get. I winged a shot at the Pershing, and he was backing up, so I didn't hit it. So I'll go back to the 122 here. I need to get rid of him. One more shot, and he's gone. And then if I can, I'll shoot at the Pershing. He blinked out, so I'll take a shot just in case he's still there. And I fire low, so I'll take another one. In the meantime, while we were dealing with the 122, the Valley of Death has totally fallen apart. It's now the Valley of the red team. They've won it. So I'm going to have to spot the T-26 and 132 as they come across our southern flank. I'm going to move over here and just see if I get opportunity to fire at any of these guys. I don't really think I can, but it's always worth a look in case somebody moves to where I can shoot them. But I really have to start paying attention to the to the southwest, because I know I got at least 2 tanks coming this way. There's the 132. I'm going to get to take a shot at him as he moves toward Artie. Bam! Way to go, Gunner. And now the T-26, almost full health, coming straight at me because the Artie's dead, and this isn't a good thing because me trying to hurt him from the front is going to take forever. Meanwhile, he can hurt me pretty bad, so I'm going to go join my team. We already know the T-26 is coming. The best I could do is track him and hope I don't get killed in return, so I'll come over and join my team and see if I can help them kill somebody over here and get the odds a little better in our favor. I don't know if you noticed it, but at one time in the fight back there, we were down like 4 tanks. Now it's back to an even fight. Our town did really well. Our valley didn't really do that well. So I'm going to come up here and see if I can help with the T-29. He takes a big hit. If I can get to him, he's dead. But I think he's going to die before I get there. I'll try anyway. Bam, off you go, T-29. Go to your garage. So I know the Persian was on the middle road. I know the T-26 is coming across the south. Don't know where the J Panther was, but he was up here last time I saw him, so I'm expecting him still to be around there somewhere. I'm going to try to find him. There he is. And he's far enough away I can shoot at him. Haven't seen the Artie yet, but I'm pretty certain he's back here, because if he'd be over here, he probably would have spotted me by now, and nobody's spotted me, so odds are this Artie's sitting back in there being Artie and just sitting there and hoping he can hit something. He already killed somebody. Now, the T-26 got killed the, he killed the 5120, so now the AMX 5100, it has to take him on by himself. So I really need to go back to town and try to help him out with the T-26. Take one last parting shot at the J Panther 2. And off I go to try to help my heavy. T-26 is just a pain in the butt. If I can get behind him, I can blast him for big damage. There's the JW Tiger way over there where I thought he'd be. Oh, and now the Persian's in town too. Man, my AMX is hurting. I'm going to get up here and try to take out the Pershing, because the AMX is going to get flanked. He shoots at me and miss. I shoot at him and hit the dead tank, so I'm going to come around the side of him. And he can't keep his gun on me. He's going to die. Now it's time to go down and flank the T-26 as well. As long as I get to his side, I'll kill him. Here we go. Oh, man. He kills my heavy just as I kill him. Oh, well. And I start thinking what to do, and here comes the J Panther. It's like, oh, now I know what to do. Run! Get out of here. I don't want him facing straight at me while I'm that far away. So I weave between the buildings and get out of his line of sight and line of fire. And now I have a choice. I can go for the Artie, or I can go for the J Panther. I know the Artie's way up here, and I know he's probably looking this way because he just killed a tank that was over here. So I don't really want to go take him on like that, because I'm going to have to come in straight at him. I don't want to come in straight at his gun. That's advantage him. Take an opportunity fire at the J Panther. I kind of thought I was going to miss that because I couldn't aim at all, and I took it anyway because you never know when you'll get lucky. So I'm trying to come up here. I'm hoping the J Panther thinks I'm going to go off after the Artie and he'll drop his guard. And now I'm going to circle around after I have good concealment and see if I can catch him sleeping. I want to take out the J Panther I want to try to take out the J Panther while I'm still 100% on my tank and crew. And if I go up and kill the Artie and he splashes me or something, my tank won't be full speed, and the J Panther traverses pretty well. So now we're kind of at a standoff. He knows where I am, I know where he is, and we got this huge church in between. So I'm going to back up. He saw me kind of going this way, so I'm expecting he'll be cheating a little bit over to my left. So I'm going to back up, get a good running start, and go to the right, and hopefully catch him just looking far enough away I can get his flank. Here we go. He is cheating that way, but he traverses really well, and he tracks me, worst case scenario. Now we're stuck. I'm going to talk about what I did here at the end of the fight. I get to his side, which I have to do. I have to try to stay to his side, and I'm going to end up having to go uphill, backwards, and it's going to be really tough. I'm trying to keep against his front quarter panel to keep him from turning more, and I just barely evaded shot. Now he dies. So, Now I have a choice of, do I want to cap or do I want to go kill the arty? And I'm going to go kill the arty. Even though it's artillery, and even though he's slow, and even though he doesn't have very much agility, because he's a GW Tiger, he's not like the GW Panther that has at least a little bit of capability to traverse. If I sit there and cap, he knows where I'm at. And if he decides to get aggressive and come try to TD me because he doesn't want to just randomly shoot into town without knowing where I'm at, he has all kinds of different approach avenues, and I have no idea which one he's going to pick. And this isn't a normal cap, it's encounter. He has about 3.5 minutes to take his time and get there and try to surprise me. I don't like that. I'm more agile than him. I'm faster than him. I see farther than him. I have every advantage in a one-on-one confrontation except face-to-face firepower. But I have a huge accuracy advantage. So I want to take the fight to him. He didn't appear to have moved at all, so I don't think he's a very skilled player. And I think that he's going to think the simple things. I'm going to come up here and come in straight at him. So he's going to be here looking this way. So I'm planning my route. Instead of going open this wide open space in case he is looking south, I'll go to the right here around this mountain, come in, burst out around this corner and come in on him and hopefully catch him looking the wrong way. And if he's looking at me, then hopefully I can fire first and get out of his line of fire and get to his side and win. It is high noon at Lakeville, and the shit's about ready to hit the fan. Here we go. Looking the wrong way, fight over. One more shot. And that last shot gives me both an Orliks and a Top Gun. And a victory. Don't forget that, because that's the real important thing there. The victory is the most important. I end up with 2,011 damage, 6 kills, 1,717 spotting damage, 1 spot, and the Top Gun and the Orliks. And for all you Hall of Famers, I'm really happy because, as you saw in Runeberg, my last time I tried to pull out a fight, I ended up with a draw, which just drives me crazy. I hate it. It irks me until I finally get to pull out a fight for my team. And so this let me pull out a fight, so now I'm happy again in that regard. But when you look at my XP, it's like time to cry again, because 2,355 XP, 45 points short of the Hall. This is either the 7th or 8th fight now in the last 3 weeks where I've just come so close and not quite hit it. But that's okay, I'll take the victory. It's a fun fight to play. So I started off not going up middle road, just because the little bird told me not to. And I listened to my little bird. He's a smart little bird. He's smarter than I am. Came over here and spotted. Saw the Pershing. Saw the two TDs up here. IS over here. If I would have gone up here, collectively, one of them would have taken me out or else severely damaged me. And who knows what would have happened in the fight. We started losing the valley right away. But we had 3 people move over here to help out, which is really a good thing. Our team played pretty well. It's just, I think, shooting wise, the other team played more effectively as the battle went down on an individual basis. But I mean, tactic wise and recognition wise, they all seemed to be really aware of what's going on. So it was a fun fight because it was pretty even overall. But anyway, the IS-6 started moving to town. That left me as the sole person in the middle. I was the only one left that could spot the middle road. And with the 2 TDs at the top of it and the Pershing halfway down, it's like, man, I need to stay here and spot in case they try to drive south. I'm the only one that's going to see them and prevent them or slow them down or sound the warning if that's what they choose to do. Unfortunately, our valley completely got blown up. And so at that point, well, before that, I came over here, saw the 122, and took him out with help. And while that was happening, the valley collapsed. I had to stay here and spot across here to watch the 132 and the T-26, and I managed to get a good shot in the 132 and take him out. And then I was left with the prospect of staring down the T-26 as he approached me, and the fact that he saw me, that was like, okay, time to leave. Because face to face from that distance with a T-26 when he still has well over 1,000 hit points, that's a losing proposition for me. And one of the things you have to learn as you go is You have to recognize when the odds are not in your favor and be willing to say, okay, it's time to be a chicken. Discretion is the better part of valor. If the odds aren't in your favor, then move. Go somewhere where you can change the odds to where they are in your favor. And so I went up to town, tried to help out the T-29, didn't quite get there in time, but he was handled and dispatched easily. Moved up here to try to see where the Tiger, or the TD was. Saw him far enough away that I could snipe him a couple times, but the T-26 made it to town and killed off the 5120, and that left the AMX 5100 one-on-one with him, I thought. And so it's like, man, I need to go back down there and help that guy. The IS-6 complicated things by leaving town and coming north with me. I was really just going up there on a scouting expedition. I wish the IS-6 had stayed in town, but he didn't. But I figured the IS-6 can work on the TD easier than that 5100 is going to be able to handle the 120 or the T-26 down in town. So I went back there and helped him, and I'm glad I did, because the Pershing had come in too. And so I was able to flank the Pershing and get a kill, and just because of the distances between the two tanks, a little bit of serendipity there. Perfect distance, I go from the Pershing kill straight to the T-26, and just before I get his flank, I'm reloaded and ready to take him out. Unfortunately, as I killed him, he killed the heavy. And that left me 1-on-2, because the GW Tiger took out the IS-6 pretty much at the same time. But in doing so, he gave away his position up in this corner, so I knew what I was up against. And the TD arrived to town just a second too late, and I managed to see him just a second in time and prevent him from shooting me by winding through the buildings down here. I circled around, made the decision not to go after the Arty, because the Arty is looking to the east, and I would have had to approach from the east, and that just didn't seem like a smart thing to me. So I circled around, and we ended up with the with the TD here, me here, knowing where each other are. Didn't want to stay still. I backed up as far as I could, got a running start, and I'd been moving this way while I was visible, so I figured he would be cheating a little bit to the south. So I went right, and he was, but he still managed to traverse, and he got me in a he tracked me and was able to move right up against me. Now I'm going to throw something on the screen here to show you what I do when this happens. It wasn't quite this bad, because I was able to prevent him from totally driving into me, but you'll find yourself in these situations from time to time. In Figure 1, you have a tank that has you pinned against their front. Most of the time they will try to drive forward to decrease your ability to move back and forth, whereas your only option is to move to either forward or backwards against their front. And you can see on my green tank I have a little blue line. That's not his gun, that's the center point of my tank. And that's the whole key to freeing yourself. It's not really the center point of your tank, it's the center point of your tracks. Your goal, the only way you can escape, is to get that center point of your tracks past the corner of his tank, as you see in Figure 2. Which is what I did to the J Panther. I faked one way, reversed, and I got the center point of my tracks just to the outside edge of the front corner of his tank, and at that point I can traverse. If I try to traverse before that, all I'm doing is reducing my agility and my ability to turn and go back and forth even more, because I can't turn. A tank turns from the center of their tracks, unlike a car. And so you have to get that center point either to the outside of the left or right of the front of their tank, and then you can traverse and try to get to his side. Now he immediately starts backing up and trying to turn to get his gun over on me, and I'm trying to maintain a position to the side of his tank, and then you just become a giant circle. You're circling together, you're dancing and just trying to keep his gun from getting on me. And you can see at that point, it was like when I had to go back up the little hill, I just barely evaded this shot, and by that time I'd worn him down and killed him. But whenever you're in a situation like that, like in Figure 1, don't try to turn. Trying to turn at that point hurts you, because you're trying to force your tank against his, and you can't turn. It keeps you from going forwards and backwards if you're trying to turn. Get the center of your tank to the edge beyond the corner of his, and then turn. Then you can pivot against him. And at the same time you're pivoting, you're also helping him prevent him from turning a little bit, and hopefully you gain a sod. Against most tanks, once you reach that position, you can successfully gain their flank and keep it. So there's a little trick on how to do that. You won't always be able to do it. In this case, I just barely got away with it because he reloads fairly fast. And it was something I had to do without any hesitation. I just had to go for it right away. And I managed to get away with it. And from there, it was just a matter of outguessing the arty, which was simple because he's the arty. And there's the fight. From Lakeville, Encounter South in my Orliks machine, 2801. Happy hunting.